A lot of contenders considering or declaring that they are, in fact, going to be back in the race. We are joined this morning here on CP24 Breakfast by Councillor Brad Bradford. Second-term councillor, of course, so good to see you here, Mr. Bradford, Councillor Bradford. We frequently saw you kind of behind Mayor Tory recently. You were very much sort of part of his inner circle, it seemed. Can I just get your take on, 48, 72 hours after Friday night, where your mind is at this morning about what this means to Toronto City Council?
Well, I think a lot of folks are still in shock. It's a really tough time for the city. And I've talked to folks at the hockey rink, the swimming pool over the weekend, and just reflecting on 2 terms, 8 years of service for the city at a time that was, marked by a lot of challenges, decades of public service, giving his time and energy to the entire region and province. And so I'm reflecting on that. And, when we think about where we have to go, when we think about the budget in front of us, it is a time for us to pull together. It's a time for action, and it's so essential that we put the politics to the side and continue to move forward. That's what Torontonians expect. It
was interesting. I read your statement a few times yesterday, kind of trying to see which way you seem to be leaning, and you talked a lot about how John Tory, you have a lot of respect for him and his ability to sort of bring the left and the right kind of together, to sort of bring things together. How do you see that playing out now going forward, depending on who becomes the next mayor of this city? How concerned are you that the sort of coalition that seemed to be sewn up there may fall apart?
It's a real concern, and that's why leadership matters. We need folks that can bring everyone together around the clamshell down at City Hall. It's also essential that you can work with our partners at Queen's Park. It's also essential that you can work with the federal government. Nothing big gets done alone, and what we need right now is not contrarians, it's not partisan politics, it's folks who can unite and bring us together around our shared values, our hopes, our aspirations for this city. Talk will not be enough. We need action, we need generational change, and we need big energy to tackle all of the major issues in front of us.
So is that something you're going to consider?
It's something that, I think is really important for us to make sure that we deliver. There's going to be a lot of conversations. I know there's many folks out there whose phones are ringing, text messages are flying. It's too soon to say that. But it is important to think about what this city needs in this moment. There is a risk that we are slipping into a slow state of decline. I love this city. We all love this city. But who ends up in that chair has a lot of responsibility. You have to have the time and the energy and the desire to continually improve this city, to work with people to do that. Transit, a lot of challenges around that, crime, public safety, people are concerned. I hear about all that all the time. $1.5 million to buy a house in Toronto. Is that an equitable city? Is that a place where folks want to live? And I think we can't lose progress on those issues. We had a plan in place. We have to keep driving it. And that's what we need right now.
Personally, for you then, when do you think you would actually make any sort of declaration here? Because it's pretty clear you're not going to make it this morning here. But when do you think that? Because your name has been talked so much about in the last several days.
Well, there's a lot of names out there. And again, my focus is honestly the budget. We have a $16 billion budget, the 4th largest in this country, to get passed on Wednesday. And my concern is, the politics are going to be flying. Partisan angles, ideology, and the notion that some of my colleagues have floated out there, let's blow up the budget. No, I mean, the events of Friday do not change the merit of this budget, which has been consulted on with thousands of Torontonians, numerous points of engagement, and months in the making to put this document together. It's very important. So the frontline services that people depend on, the TTC, the housing, all the investments that we're making, we have to get that done. We have to get it through council and move forward with our civil service partners. That's what Torontonians need. That's what I'm focused on this week.
You sound genuinely concerned about the budget. How imperiled do you see it at right now?
Well, if we can't, we are legislatively required to pass the budget. But, it can be chaotic down there. And Mayor Tory was very good at keeping people together, at moving that agenda forward. He was just reelected, of course, with a massive mandate just a few months ago. And that is the power that a mayor can really bring to that job when you work together. And there are folks down there that see themselves in the opposition benches. And, they want to take a moment like this and spike the football and pardon the Super Bowl reference there. But it's just not helpful. We need responsible government. We need folks who are focused focused on the issues and delivering action for Torontonians. So I am worried about the budget. I think that, this is a time for unity, for us to come together as colleagues. We got to get that through. There's room for amendments. There always is. We work on that stuff together. But the idea that we would be making wholesale changes in the 11th hour, that's not going to be helpful.
All right, it is definitely going to be something to watch what unfolds this week. Indeed, Councillor Brad Bradford, thanks for joining us this morning. I'm sure we'll be talking really soon. We'll talk to you very soon as well then. Okay.
Always a pleasure.